Good mid-afternoon. Welcome back, poker fans, poker friends. This is Run It Up 2. We're back at it, our third crack today. If you've been with us, things have not been going well for the old home team. Some really ugly things going down. Just for the record, 347.57 was the bankroll sitting down. If you've been with us for the duration, you know that the last session we played, we actually didn't lose. We didn't lose money, and considering the way things have been, that is kind of a ginormous victory. So we're really hoping that the worm has turned, that the ugliness has passed, the clouds have parted, but we'll see. It's just a matter of how long poker wants to keep us down, maybe. So here we are, a table of 25, no limit. Looks like we've got a couple of full stacks on our left. $10 across just disappeared. Only one shorter stacker, 763 right there in the 3 spot. And I think for the third video, well, no, I take that back. Okay, so full stacks, looks good. Let's start testing the waters. Hey, 1 for 1. Nine deuce. They're both blue, and there are only 4 people left. Nonetheless, it's still 9 deuce. What are you going to do? Against a bunch of strangers, no less. Now king 10 on the other hand. Above the average starting hand, that's for sure. Hey, look at that. The money's just falling into our pockets. What about you, number 4? You going to stand for that? Nope. It's going to indicate his resistance by flat calling on the button. No C-bet from number 1. Okay. Boy, if this ends up being the action level of the last video, well, it might just put me to sleep. Last time was just so achingly slow. Scary looking flop, right? That's what we're counting on. Booyah. If it continues to be this passive and this slow, if 2 or 3 orbits from now it's looking exactly the same, I'll be raising up King 4 in a spot like that. I mean, so far, no resistance from anybody to anything. like that. Number 1 raises, but as we've seen, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I mean, it may mean something, but it doesn't mean that you're at a tremendous disadvantage. Getting into a hand, unless you see a flop like that. I mean, we saw him raise and then quite easily fold after checking the flop. A less than min raise for number 2. That's always interesting. I'm always a little curious to know what people are thinking when they do that. How do you not at least make it a min raise? And then check. 3-bet pre-flop. Check the flop. Call the turn. Pocket fours. I mean, honestly, when he kind of min raises pre-flop, is he intending to pump up the pot? I mean, why would you pay more to see if you're just set mining? Why would you pay more to see a flop than you need to if you have no intention of doing anything other than proceeding with a set? It's just so weird to me. And if you are trying to take it down pre-flop, I mean, do you honestly think that kind of raise is going to do it? I just don't get it. Last time we were trying to offer Halloween chocolate to the poker gods via the vehicle of my stomach. It may have worked. Like I said at the start, we didn't lose. So maybe poker is being a bit kindler. Kindler? A bit more kind? Gentler? Number 6 says, let's do it. We've got money to make up. Let's, alright, okay, sure. So, gutter ball. An overcard. Backdoor flush draw. 3-1. Amongst the hands he could have been 3-betting us there with ace, king, maybe ace, queen, aces, kings, queens, jacks, half pot now. I don't like flat calling too much. I think it's go or don't go at this point. I think there's a reasonable chance that he might fold. Okay. That's a good thing. 85 cents under the gun. We're not feeling super hot about calling with ace-9, but yeah. Okay, here's hoping for a big flop. Yeah, top pair, top kicker. There are worse things you can flop. Alright, so of the major concerns, this guy and this bet are pretty much the least of them. Flat calling behind I mean, flat calling is not a great option. I think we're going to go ahead, raise it up, and if there's a set somewhere behind us, so be it. It's getting in now. We may or may not be ahead. We were ahead. He was a non-believer. Would you look at that? Look at that. Well, what a start. The poker gods may be appeased. Either way, we're thankful for some slightly better luck, a made hand or two that have managed to stay alive. See, now a couple of sessions ago, we finished with a horrible hand. We made trip kings and lost to a boat. And it all boiled down to sort of a behavioral question. What would a typical player at this level do? You know, is he ever making his raise without a monster? By the time we re-raised, put our money in, we were committed to the hand. But a second king turned, and there were questions about would he ever continue with hands that we could beat. You see something like that we just saw out of that guy. And, you know, it makes you feel better about the way that all went down. I'm not saying in that hand, that king's hand, that we would do the same against at a different level, or against the player we had some information on that we believed to be fairly competent. But there's, you know, no accounting for the incompetency you occasionally get surprised by at this level. And win or lose, this will be the last session of today. Things to do, places to go, people to see, all that. It's 3 in the afternoon, so we shouldn't really have the post-work crew showing up yet. That tends to happen in the evenings. You know, I felt a little bad as I was folding the 7-6. Oh, feel better about it now. So this is considerably more action than we saw earlier this afternoon or this morning. We like it, we like it, we like the money to be flowing, we want opportunities, we want people willing to play. Fires twice, lets it go. Huh. Alright. I guess those players were both in the blinds there. Three betting and everything. This is almost like a poker game. We still think one is a little skittish, though, if that's the same player that we noticed before. What was it the other day? Was it in the first session? I'm not sure if one video we did or didn't talk about somebody who was in the chat saying, talking to another player saying, oh, you haven't won a hand yet, kind of talking about something about hand histories, and I pointed out that hand histories aren't immediately available, I don't think, on this site. I do believe, however, there is now a poker tracking type software that manages to keep track of the action on this site. Whereas Hold'em Manager and Poker Tracker, I don't believe work here because of the lack of written in real time or close to it hand histories. I don't think they're stored locally as a file. Two likes his pre-flop raising, it looks like. And checking. When we are working our way up and we're playing 100 no limit, 200 no limit, how many pre-flop raises do you think you're going to see under the gun like that then fail to c-bet? I'm going to guess it's a number approaching 0. Look at that. Both of our cards have paint on them. And letters instead of numbers. That's cool. That flop has both of our numbers on it. Also has 2 diamonds and a bunch of cards almost in a row. The number train keeps rolling. And you know, I think you could go either way. We could re-raise this hand. We could just flat call with it, which I think is what we're going to do. Play it to make a big hand with a big pot. Well, once again, we find one of our letters out there on the flop. And once again, nobody willing to step up post-flop and make a bet. Wow. Look at that, more letters. This is a streak of 6 letters in a row. So we're going to go ahead and bet on the strength of a pair yet again. Eight letters. 8 letters. Lovely, lovely. So he's certainly raised his fair share of pots pre-flop. So what are the advantages of re-raising him here? I think if he hasn't really got much of a hand, he's going to just fold right away. He's been a little foldy, at least to us, at least when he maybe has just been whiffing pots, whiffing boards completely. I think we're going to just flat call. take our chances. He could do lots of things, like just check back to us. With the appearance of a second 4, I think I'm going to go ahead and bet. There's some kind of story that we, could make sense for us there. And yet another fold. I'm not sure. And letters number 9 and 10. This is phenomenal. I'm starting to wonder if against some of these players, having a believable story is even required. Interesting that he's limping. Just for kicks, I'm going to keep it a little bit smaller. Every hand he's betting, has he limped yet? 75 cents to see if he'll fold one more time. He does. Wow. Okay. So we're gonna mark this guy and a dozen even letters. Wow. Poker, we thank you. Poker I wonder if Poker's feeling kind of sad about what it has been doing to us the last, most of the time over the last week or so. We're gonna give that guy a yellow flag because he's yellow. Again, we could 3-bet. Perhaps we should have, to discourage this kind of thing. But since we didn't do that, I think we're going to have to 25. How confident do we think that guy is? I hate to be too much of a nit. I think we're going to look at a turn card and see what he does on the turn. That may or may not be a good card for us. He may have just been feeling still pretty strong with his ace-king, ace-queen. So there's 11 in there. There's going to be 15 in there. He's going to have a pot-sized bet. It's probably poor to just call, but I think we might call. And what do you know about that? Bink the jack. Our primary concern was that he was feeling good with a really strong ace. Wouldn't it be great if he had ace-8? Something like that. So, if he does have a big ace, he can probably be inclined to call something. Let's call it $7. See if that looks tasty enough. Oddly, our $7 is not going out into the pot. I don't know what's happened. Are we having a connection issue? We are having a connection issue. Holy smokes! What an unfortunate time for this to happen. I don't know, considering he checked. Yeah, that's bad news. Alright, considering he checked, I think I don't know if it's going to award us the pot if we're not there. We're going to mark that 58.47 down. This is clearly a network issue. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. We'll be right back after we resolve these technical difficulties. Alright, so that took a little bit of doing. It looks like certainly that was we did get booted off the table. And we got booted off due to a local connection error, not from the site. It's been about 10 minutes since we were playing there. And it did reward us that pot. We cashed out, the last we saw, our stack was at 58.47, but in the statement from the site, when we log into the admin online, we see that we cashed out of that table for $74.15. So we booked a nice little win there, $49.15. Things have, at least for the time being, for that little mini session, turned around. We're very thankful for that. It's nice to have a quick and solid win after the way things have been going. It was just a question of sort of how this thing operates and what bad things can happen when you log off. I mean, on that flop, there was 0% chance we didn't have the best hand. Obviously, just a little bit of concern that our logging off due to our own technical difficulty was going to somehow jeopardize that $15 that was in the pot. So 74.15 books 49.15. Now that puts the bankroll up to 396.72. So pretty much where we started a couple days ago. Considering that we have lost at least twice full stacks to set under set deals, that we've lost to a couple of full houses in under nefarious circumstances. I think that's okay. There's a weird thing going on with my overall balance at this site is actually showing $496, like an extra $100. I know that a friend of mine, I think, recently made a deposit here and used the referral deal for me to get a referral kickback. I don't know how the referrals work here. I would have guessed that I'd have to play through something, and I would not have guessed that it would be a $100 kickback. Presumably, I mean, maybe that $100 accidentally went to us instead of my friend who was trying to deposit. I don't know. I'm going to have to get to the bottom of that. So while the site thinks we have $496, it's not true. The run it up to bankroll is at $396.72. A very happy turnaround. I'd love to kind of keep that momentum going and play a little longer, but I do have an appointment. So that's going to be it for today. We'll be anxious to get back at it tomorrow and see if our run good can, hang around for a little while. Wouldn't that be nice? So if you have questions or comments about how things are going so far, ways you'd like to see things different with these videos, please let me know in the comments section below. Tune in soon. See how things go next time. We'll catch you then.